Hi, I'm Rachel with Darice.
Welcome to part 2 of DIY Floral Mesh.
Today, I'll be showing you 2 basic mesh techniques. First, I'm going to show you the puff and tuck technique. It's really easy, anybody can do this. To get started, you're going to need a roll of mesh and chenille stems in corresponding colors. I'm using opposite colors so that it's a little bit easier for you to see. You're going to need a wire wreath frame. I'm using a 16-inch frame, a pair of scissors for later use, and a pair of wire cutters to cut your chenille stems. To begin your wreath, you're going to start on the inside rung. You're going to work your way around and to the outside of the wreath form. Pick up a chenille stem, pick any joint in the middle rung, the inside of the wreath. Wrap the pipe cleaner around it so that it doesn't move back and forth. Now this is the fun part. Take your mesh and just drop it to the floor. It's okay, it can roll around as you work, it's much easier that way. Now go ahead and bunch up your mesh. Leave maybe like a 4-inch tail. Take your pipe cleaner and then twist it around the mesh using a simple bread twist. Take the ends and fold them down when you're done with your twist. That way you don't poke yourself while you're working. Now don't worry about this tail because later on you're going to tuck it into your wreath. You won't even see it. About 6 to 8 inches down, bunch your mesh up again. Grab another chenille stem and wrap it around the next joint. Take another chenille stem, wrap it around the next joint.
When you've gone all around the inside rung, you'll jump to the next, working outwards. Keep tying your mesh to each joint until you reach the outside rung.
Now when you get to this point, you're going to jump onto the outside of the wreath form. Now when you work around the outside, you're going to bunch at every joint, and then you're going to bunch in between every joint too, so it'll be double puffed on the outside. This helps to create a little bit more body, it makes your wreath look a little bit fuller. Now when you get to your last bunch, go ahead and tie it on, just like normal. You might have some extra mesh, you might not, you might finish a little short. Even if you finish a little short, nobody's gonna notice, don't worry about it. But when you're done, you don't have to cut it, just take the tail and bunch it right into the rest of the mesh and nobody's even gonna notice it. And so this is what your mesh wreath is gonna look like when you're finished. You don't have to be super consistent as you work. No matter what, it's gonna turn out awesome. Next, I'm going to show you the roll and cut technique. You're gonna need a lot of the same supplies that you use to make the puff and tuck wreath. You'll need a wire wreath form. You're gonna need a pair of scissors to cut your mesh, and then something to tie your mesh to the wreath form. I'm using tinsel wire, and of course you're going to need your wire cutters to cut that. Something that you're going to do a little bit different this time, you're going to cut your mesh into 12-inch wide strips. You're just going to let the mesh roll in on itself, it's going to make a tube, and this is what you're going to use to create the body of your wreath. To begin, take a piece of tinsel wire, wrap it around one of the middle joints, grab 3 or 4 mesh rolls in the center, and then twist the tinsel wire around the rolls using a bread twist. Grab another piece of tinsel wire, go around the next joint, and repeat. Now you're going to work your way all around the wreath on the middle rungs, and then move to the outside rung and the inside rung to fill in to give it a little bit more body. Now if you want to do something a little differently, you can use a styrofoam wreath form. Do the same thing. Grab your mesh, but this time you're going to wrap it around the wreath form. Grip it tight. Take a piece of tinsel wire and tie the mesh off just like that, tucking the ends in. You'll continue to do this and work your way all around. The back's gonna look just like that, and you'll get that same nice full effect, but this wreath is just gonna be a little bit smaller. Now this is what your wreath should look like when it's finished. This was made on an 18-inch wreath form, so it's a little bit larger, but either way, you're still gonna get that nice and full effect when you use this technique. Thanks so much for watching part 2 of DIY Floral Mesh. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more project tips and inspiration. Click here to see more DIY Deco Mesh videos.